Blinken asks Qatar to tone down the rhetoric of Al Jazeera.
Here's a summary of the article.
U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken told a group of American Jewish community leaders on Monday that he asked the Qatari Prime Minister less than 2 weeks ago to tone down Al Jazeera's rhetoric about the war in Gaza, according to 3 people who attended the meeting. Why it matters? Blinken's comments suggest the administration, which has asserted its support for the independent press globally, is concerned Al Jazeera's framing of the conflict could escalate tensions in the region. Background: the Al Jazeera media network is funded by the Qatari government but maintains it operates independently. Critics have said it reflects the foreign policy position of Qatar, which has faced scrutiny over its ties to Hamas. Behind the scenes, Blinken told American Jewish leaders on Monday that when he was in Doha on October 13, he asked the Qatari government to change its public posture towards Hamas, 3 people who attended the meeting said. The big picture. Speaking alongside Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani in Doha, Blinken said, there can be no more business as usual with Hamas. Yes, but the Biden administration is dependent on Qatar's mediation with Hamas, which led last week to the release of 2 American hostages.
This post received a score of 4,700, with an upvote ratio of 89%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
For people that don't read the article.
Not like the English one is a lot better?
Generally speaking, this is incorrect. When it comes to Israel coverage, you could make a case.
I like their coverage because they don't do that shitty thing our media does where they say, Israeli killed, Palestinian died. It's such obvious biased warm-tongue, I hate it so much.
Same, I don't like their coverage when they say things like, local governing authorities, without any mention of Hamas. Nor am I a fan of when they parrot Hamas narratives with no actual evidence and then quietly retract their story, though that one you can blame most media on.
On the English version, it's the Israel-Gaza war. On the Arabic version, it's the Al-Aqsa flood. It doesn't get much more clear. Greater than the Al-Aqsa flood. That is not super clear to me. What does a mosque in Jerusalem have to do with the mess in Gaza? Al-Aqsa is a West Bank location, not a Gazan. Seems like there is a cultural, historical reference there that I am not getting.
Hamas calls it Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. The reason they use that name is a bit more complicated, but it is tied to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. There have been clashes at Al-Aqsa in 2022 and 2023 for all sorts of shit. I'd imagine another issue is that Israel controls access into the complex part of Hamas's justification for their actions, as per their statements, is that the raids done by Israel desecrate the mosque. I don't think that's true, but it's what their propaganda efforts promote.
Greater than is that the raids done by Israel desecrate the mosque. I don't think that's true. Didn't you just say the Israeli police raided a mosque of peaceful people?
If Qatar can tone down the rhetoric of Al Jazeera, then is Al Jazeera really an independent news journalism organization or just the well-funded PR department of Qatar? The same Qatar that supports Hamas.
Al Jazeera is funded by Qatar. It is state media.
Just like RT is Russia's.
AJ is constantly ranked as pretty unbiased on most subjects. Always take into account where a certain media is based. Germany has DW. France has France 24, Fry etc. The UK has the BBC.
There is supposedly a difference between what gets published via AJ English language versus AJ Arabic language. From my understanding, the Arabic language content is frequently far more radical than what we're reading in English.
This is a bit personal, but I'm heavily biased against Al Jazeera because of their coverage during the Arab Spring. They're definitely one of the channels that pushed a lot of propaganda for the Muslim Brotherhood, not to mention inciting more retaliation against Libya's government then and reducing the amount of coverage in other nations.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.